Okay, so I thought I'd do another different sort of video. I'm actually at work today at the University of Sunderland, which is behind us. And I thought I'd do a bit of a sort of match review, a quick one, because obviously we've got All Ending coming up this evening, and we'll obviously talk a lot more about the game. I apologise if there's wind interference, but it is Sunderland. I am by the river. It does get windy. So, the game last night, I thought Sunderland started really poor. Look, that doesn't take much analysis. We were bad in the first sort of 25 minutes. I thought Everton played pretty well. I think Everton were very professional. I did watch an Everton podcast before the game, and they were talking about the need for them to be professional. And I thought they were. They came out, they were very, very strong in the first sort of 15, 20 minutes. I thought that they were the better team. And it's happened a few times this season with Sunderland, where I have sort of thought we looked, sort of not at the level. And it's happened a few times this season. It spells, that Brentford game we had at home, there was a period where I thought, maybe we aren't quite at the level. There was, West Ham at home at the start of the season in the first half. I thought they were, good in the first half. And that was the feeling I got in the first 20, 25 minutes of this game. I thought I thought Everton were really, really good. I thought Ndai, who I was worried about before the game, he was fantastic. I thought that, I'll put this up here because I realise it's pointing downwards. Hopefully you can hear us better now. I thought that Grealish looked threatening, and I think we struggled. I don't know if we were set up correctly. I'll take this off and just hold it like this. I didn't think we were set up correctly though. I thought that, the five at the back, I'm not sure if it really worked, to be honest. Certainly in the first 20, 25 minutes. And Everton were just intense, and I felt like their game plan was to try and get an early goal, which they did, try and get a second goal, which they very nearly did, and really just sort of take the stuffing out of the crowd, and that was what they tried to do, and they were very close to doing it. I mean, Everton get that second goal, Grealish hit the post, didn't he? We also had Barry missing absolute sitter. I mean, Christ almighty, how on earth he's put that one over the bar. But then after that, Everton created very, very little, and I thought we adjusted after sort of 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Thought we were good towards the end of the first half, generally. Didn't necessarily create a lot, but we looked threatening, and our throw-ins and set pieces and were all very, very dangerous. And I thought that we really sort of dominated the last hour of the game. The second half, I thought we were fantastic. I was surprised we didn't see changes at half-time, but I think one of the things you'd say with this manager is that he is very, very good when it comes to not making changes when he thinks that that's right. He sometimes makes the decision that you don't expect. At half-time he could easily have made 3, but he didn't. He kept it the same. And I think he deserves credit for that, because he stuck with what it was. He tweaked clearly at half-time, and I haven't watched the game back, so I'm not sure 100% exactly what he did, but we were better, far better in the second half. We obviously scored the goal. Xhaka deflected effort. We nearly got another deflected goal just after that. I thought we were very good value in the second half for the equaliser. I think we have to talk about the penalty decision that wasn't given. I don't know what they're looking at there with the VAR. I think an Everton fan would even say that, if that went against them, they'd be pretty annoyed by it. I like the fact that we don't make a deal of it as a club, and, Reggie doesn't kick off about it in his press conferences. I think that's the right thing to do, but when you've got a player whose arm is so clearly in a natural position, the distance to him and the ball is short, but it's not that short that he couldn't have got his arm out of the way. It's very clearly away from his body. I don't know how VAR don't look at that and think, yeah, that looks like a handball to me. And I think about that one that Everton conceded against Leeds on the opening day of the season, where Tarkowski has his arm at his side and is sort of, he is moving towards the ball, but his arm's at his side, so you're like, where can he put his arm? Well, this one was totally different than that. This one was a far more blatant penalty than that one, and very, very frustrating. Do I think that we deserved to get a second goal in the game? I'm not necessarily sure. I think Everton were good value for how well they played in the first sort of 30 minutes, so it's not really sour grapes. It's more just that it's quite frustrating when you are at the game and you're seeing us, really pushing that second half, and there was a few just awkward. I mean, I thought the referee, it's the worst referee we've had this season, just in terms of controlling the game and the balance of the game. I thought he was so poor. didn't manage the game. Siddiqui, I think, got a yellow card in the first half, largely because the referee wasn't controlling it. Don't think he gave a foul in the first 19 minutes of the game, unless I've forgotten one. When I was at the game, I was looking at this, and I'm sure it was 19 minutes before the first free kick of the game was given, which I think was Siddiqui's yellow card. So, overall, in terms of the referee, super frustrating, and you're expecting the Premier League to not have to be dealing with this, especially with VAR, that they should be checking thoroughly that handball. And I think as well, the communication on the ground with the VAR was awful yesterday. Nothing coming up on the scoreboards, nothing to tell us that there's been a VAR check, and there surely must have been some, because there was delays between the goals. There was a delay on the Everton goal to check if Siddiqui was a foul on Siddiqui. I actually think they got that one correct. I don't think it was a foul on Siddiqui. I need Siddiqui to be stronger than that there. But yeah, frustrating with the referee. But I think overall, long term with Sunderland, it's a good point. Before the international break, the last one, I sort of looked at this period and thought that if we could get 4 points from it, I thought we could beat Wolves and get a draw against Everton. That was kind of the bare minimum for me. Maintain a point per game is pretty vital. The fact we've got 7 from it, yes, it could have been 9, and we can sort of hum and haw about whether or not we should have beaten Everton yesterday. But I think Everton are a strong team, and they'll cause problems for teams this season. They've got good attacking threats. Defensively, they're pretty strong. Fullback's not great for them, but I think that this is a good point, and 7 points from 3 at any time in the Premier League is fantastic, and we have to look at it in that way. We're up to 4th in the league table. We've got 18 points. Even this weekend, if we're going to look at the other end of the league table, Leeds got beat, Burnley, they got beat, we've got Wolves getting beat again, Forest picked up a draw, so we are sort of level with what Forest, that hasn't changed. And West Ham, of course, beat Newcastle, but that was funny, so I'm willing to allow West Ham to beat Newcastle. Keep getting West Ham and Everton mixed up for some reason. Yeah, West Ham beating Newcastle was just funny, so we'll accept that. And we do have to look. I want to look up the table as much as I want to look down as much as I don't want to look down the table. But I do think we still have to look down the table. 18 points it's a brilliant haul from 10 games. We are closing sort of in on that 2 points per game, which is phenomenal. I want 1 point per game, but we're near enough 2 points per game at the minute. I think we've got to take massive credit for where we are in the league table right now. And look, this weekend coming against Arsenal, it's going to be difficult, but I don't really have any reason to fear. I think if we can sort of put in a strong, sturdy defensive performance like we know we can, we have weapons to hurt Arsenal. Obviously, they are unbelievable on set pieces and stuff, so you wouldn't necessarily expect us to be able to hurt them in that way. And I don't, but I still think there will be chances for us in it. And look, right now, you would snap somebody's hands off for a point, but Arsenal can't win every single game, and this is one. They might come to the stadium and think a point's not a bad result as well. They might think, with how well Sunderland are doing this season, if we can get out of there and get a draw, it's not the end of the world. So yeah, I think we've got a really interesting sort of game ahead this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously not going to be there because I'm at a wedding, which I'm not happy about, but it is what it is. At least it's not a first v second clash. I would have been even more devastated then. But yeah, coming up on the channel, we've got Alt ending, so me and Alt are recording. Taff. We're recording tonight at, I think, 7:15, so we're going to have the review for the Everton game. That'll come out tonight. Then we'll have propaganda, and then we'll have an Arsenal preview, so that'll be coming out we'll probably get it all out by like Wednesday, just so there's time for it to breathe before the game at the weekend. And that just about sums it up. I think that just about sums up the content. Obviously, we'll have previews for the Arsenal game and all that sort of good stuff as well. But yeah, lots and lots happening on the channels. Thanks everyone for watching. Please subscribe as well if you haven't, and please leave comments. Let me know what you thought of the game last night. I'll be intrigued to know. And yeah, we'll catch you for another video very, very soon. I hope you enjoyed this river. It was meant to be a river walk, but I think it was so windy that yeah, couldn't necessarily do it. But anyway, we'll see you soon.